Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel again. And this one, first of all, thank you very much for all the new subscribers and also people watching and liking my videos. It really does help, and it really does help bring up the rankings of my channel and the popularity of the channel. So please definitely hit the like, subscribe button and ensure that it stays near the top, and you can all benefit from the quick apps that I'm going to be making, and also the information. This one, I know this one's been a long time coming for a couple of people, and this one is informational video. It's also mainly for Android users, I'm afraid, not iOS, because the app that I'm going to be talking about here is only available on Android. I've not really come across an iOS version of this. So the app we're talking about is something called Tasker. So Tasker is an Android app which allows you to automate things in your phone. Now, what we're doing here is we're actually going to be using the power of Tasker and the power of smart homes. Okay, so this is a total automation really for downloading, and it can actually do a lot of things. So this is their website, and it's you can get it from the Play Store. Okay, let's see, I can't remember how much it costs these days, as I've had it for a very long time. So there's also different plugins that are available. Again, if you go onto, there's so much stuff about Tasker, your best bet, there's loads of videos about it. But what I'm going to be talking about is I'm only going to be talking about a certain part of it, which links to the home automation system. All right. Now, for this to work, so what I suggest you do is watch the whole video. I'm going to try and make it as short as possible, but there is quite a bit to cover. But once it gets done, it is absolutely brilliant. All right. So the first thing we need to do is just type in. There is something that we do need to do, and I don't know if everybody's comfortable, but we do have to create a port forward to your home center. So what I've done is, if you type in how to port forward, because there's no way I can cover everything in this video. So how to port forward, and then your name of router. So for example, Netgear R7000 router. So it then gives you instructions on how to do it all. So what I suggest you do is go onto these videos, and for your particular brand of router, and set this up. So for example, and the other thing I would suggest doing would be, if you are, let me find something, if I can find it here. So if you just find a port forwarding and go to create a port forward. So here there's something called internal ports and external ports. All right, what I suggest you do is put the external port somewhere in the region of like 2000, 3000 or something. So just make up a number, say, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. But when you do, it says here use the same port. We're not going to use the same port because we want to create a bit more security. So the internal port we're going to be using is 80. Okay, is port 80. So something like, so this is for example again Netgear. So here we're gonna have service name, we'll call it HC3. The IP address is whatever the IP address of your server is for your home center. External port, I will probably put something like, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, or any number. You can use up to a number of 65,555, if I remember correctly. So I would probably make something like, I don't know, choose 1, 2, 3, 4, or sorry, don't choose 1, 2, 3, 4. Just choose any number, any 4-digit number. Internal start port, make sure that's 80, and that's it. Then what you need is you will then need to do what's my IP. So when you do what's my IP, here will display your external IP address for your home center. Well, you can't see mine because I've blocked it out. And it'll be a set of numbers, so it'll be something dot something dot something dot something, and that is what's called your external IP address. Okay, so together with this external IP address plus the port that you've created is going to be the address of your house. You've also got to remember that if you ever switch off your modem or reboot your router modem, that public IP address, your external IP address, may change. So you might be better off using a DYN DNS service. They are, or a no IP service, and what they are free. So something like these free DNSs. So what that means is instead of having to remember those numbers, you can sign a name to it. So for example, my address, I can sign it to, say, I don't know, yorkshireautomation.ddns.net. So every time I type yorkshireautomation.ddns.net, it'll automatically forward it to that external IP for my own house. And then all I have to do is just make sure I go onto this site and make sure I keep the external IP address updated with the with this entry. I think it's every 30 days minimum you have to keep logging in, or alternatively you can just purchase an account from these guys, or DYN, DNS, etc. Okay, right, so that's part 1 done. Next part is on the home center. We then need to create a user, because what we want to do is, in fact, before we create the user, we're going to create the device. And the reason is I don't want to have my whole house available. So what we do here is we're going to create a specific user, and that user, we're going to give them access to one device. That device is going to be a quick app, which I'm going to show you now how to create. Okay. And then naturally how to link it to scenes. So first things first, what we'll do is we'll click on settings, add device, other device, and we're going to create a quick app. I'm going to call this Tasker QA. Device type, we can just put it as other device. It's fine because we're not going to be using it for anything else, or generic device. Click on save. Now what we're going to do, click on edit and preview. So I'm going to start off with something basic. So I'm just going to put 3 buttons on here. Okay, and these are my so that's at the moment 3 commands. As I'm going to increase this, I can then keep on adding more and more buttons like this, and we can add as many as we need. So, but I don't need them now, so let me delete that. And if I go on to here, I'm going to delete that. Now I'm going to just do a demonstration on one. So we're going to call this one, let's call it door lock, because what I want to do is I want to be able to open the door using a NFC tag, or using a little shortcut widget on my phone. This one I don't need now, so I'm just going to make it invisible. And this one again, I'm just going to make it invisible for now. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is we need to write a little bit of code for this. So it's function quick app. Oops. So enter. So quick app. Then colon. So as you can see, we're going to follow this structure above here. But this time we're going to write the name of the button we just called it. So if you go back onto door lock, and where it says on released and it's called door lock, that's what we have to name it here. And then just open open brackets and close brackets is automatic. And then make sure we finish it with an end and then hit save. So then if we go back onto this screen here, we can see that there's just door lock written there. And all you have to do, I keep forgetting this. Right, we do need to go back in, and we then now have to create these two for us as well. Okay, so call this button 2 and button 3. Okay, it's ID is the reason why I call these the same is because of this, the ID. So all we're going to do is we're just going to copy this and paste it twice. And we're just going to change the word door lock to button 2 and button 3 to match here. So ID button 3, ID button 2. Yep, button 3, button 2, and make sure we've copied that here. And that way, if you look back here, when I click door lock, it's working. And there's no error messages anywhere. So callback for button and callbacks are defined now. Right. That's done. Now what we're going to do on the door lock, click on edit. So what we want to do is we want to do something when we press that button. And I want to unlock the door. Or now the problem is on this particular test computer, I don't actually have a door lock, but I have, say, a hallway light, which is ID 24. But there's a couple of ways of doing this. So if you know Lua code, we can just type in hub.call, which is a standard command to do something. And it gives you an example here, device ID and what we want to do. So if I press that, and then we just input the ID number, which to be honest I've forgotten. So if I click on save, close, 24. Good idea to write these down beforehand. So put that as 24, and the command is going to be turn on. If you can't remember that, there is another way of doing it. So if we go on to scenes, click on add block. We're just going to say turn on hallway. So it could be anything. Hit save. All we're going to do is we're just going to change, because this is not an activated scene, we just put that to there to say once, put the time, and just set a date in the past. Okay, and that's it. So it just means it won't automatically trigger. And then all we want is we want to turn on the hallway. So it's just a single device. Choose the room, choose the device, and I'm just going to say turn on. That's it, and save. So once you've done that, you've got, all you then have to do is click on this one, copy and convert to Lua. Click on that, and then ignore this and just copy this, and just copy, and then you can go back on to, if you then go back onto the devices and the tasker, edit, and just paste it into here. That's it. That's a shortcut way of doing simple commands very quickly, very easily for this. So we've now got our command. So now if we want to, just if I click on close for now, go back onto here, you can see that this hallway light is off. When I click on that, as you can see, the hallway light is turned on, so we know it's working. So turn it off, and door lock. So naturally we will be putting a command for the lock in instead, and it'll just unlock and reset. Okay, so we know that's working, so that's perfect. Now next part is we're going to be doing on our phone. So if I click on settings, we need to know a couple of things before we switch over. First of all, we need to know the ID of the app, which is 43. And of course, we also want to know this, where it says unreleased and door lock. Hence why I always keep these the same. The ID the same for here, the label the same, so it's on here the same. And of course, the unreleased command, which is the command it releases to make the action, which is unreleased as well, which is the same. So now that we've got these details, I'm now going to go over to the mobile and get that sorted. Sorry, get my words out. I'm going to go over to the mobile now and do the next part on the mobile. So I'm just going to pause for now. Right, sorry, before I go over to the mobile, I have forgot to create the user. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go into access and we're going to say add user. Now I'm going to call this user, because it's a Tasker user, I'm just going to call it Tasker, and an email address, so which, to be honest with you, we're not going to be linking it to any Fibaro ID or anything like that, so you can just make anything up. And then click on next, and what it does, it's just created a user. So next thing we need to do, manage access. So let me just exit that, click that, refresh the screen. As you can see, that's how you do it to get it full again. So I'm only want to give it to access to just one item, the Tasker QA. That's all you need to give access. So what that means is whenever I log in using this external access, it will only be able to see that ID, so this person's name, Tasker, and it can only see one item, and that's this QA. It can't see anything else. All right. Now, before we proceed, we also have to create a username and password. Sorry, we also have to create a password. So down here, we then have to create a password. Now, the thing is with these passwords, as usual, it's got to be like 10, 12 characters with special characters. So go ahead and create something that that you know and that meets all the criteria. Okay, so I've done that there. If you highlight it here, here. So it must be 7 characters long, including 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase, 1 special character, 1 digit. You know, the usual way. And then we hit save. So I've now got my username, Tasker. I've got my password, which I've just set. And then if I go back onto devices to give me a reminder, ID 43, and the item is called door lock. So everything is ready. Now we will go to the phone. Right, now we are here at my phone, and this is the Tasker app, which I've told you I've just been using. So these are some stuff that I've done. So these all belong to the mobile, and then this stuff here, which I've started doing, that does external stuff, not just stuff on my phone. So stuff on my car, and of course here unlocking doors, which is what I've set up. So how do we do this? So first of all, we need to create a task. So we click on the plus icon, and we give the name of the task. Okay, so I'll just call it whatever. Oh, and then you click on the tick sign. We are then going to add an action. So we click on plus. Now, this is because we're going to be using the internet, and so we're going to use the net, and then we're going to be using a HTTP request, and then this gives you a bit of tips. So click on OK, and the method is going to be get. Now the URL, I'm going to write this URL down, and I'm going to put it in the description for you. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to the PC to go through what it means. So in the meantime, I'm just going to be pasting it across now. Okay. And I'm just going to make some adjustments on here. I'm going to make some adjustment on here to match what I need it to match. Okay. So I'm just going to pause it and carry on. So now I've created it, and remember just to hit save at the bottom. So just show you there, once you've done it, just hit the back arrow and it's saved over there. So that is now completely saved. So I'm going to click on back, click on tick, and that's it, it's done. So that's our profile. Sorry, that's our task saved. Now, profiles. Profiles is a way of doing this as an automated step. So what I've done is I use NFC tags. Now, NFC tags, as some are aware, they're just basically small tags. So let me just bring that up, which I'll show you on the computer afterwards. Okay. Yeah. I'll show you them on the computer when we go back on. So, and what we do is I assign these here. So all I've done here, so let's create a new one. So it's plus. I just name it as NFC, and then whatever the task it is needs to be. And then all I'm going to do is choose event, and it's just type in NFC tag ID. So these tags, we don't actually write anything onto these tags, but what I tend to do is I tend to load the tag on the phone first, make sure it's empty, and then name the tag so it doesn't keep requesting extra information from me. So I name it to tell me what it is, and then all I need to do is click on the magnifying glass, and then you scan the NFC tag, and it comes up with an ID number there, and that's it. All it means is, I'm just going to cancel that. So all it means is we get something like this, NFC tag and the serial number of the tag. This means that I'm not actually writing any information on the tag. So if somebody comes along and scans that tag, it'll do nothing at all, because all they're reading is the information on the tag, whereas I'm actually utilizing the serial number of the tag. And when this phone reads the serial number, it then performs this action. And as each tag is unique and it's only on my phone that I have this link created, it means that it is very safe and secure. Okay. So what it does is when I then scan this tag, it runs, this is like the declarations for a home center, and the unlock is that is then the action. So that's what it does. Once we scan this, it performs this action, and effectively it just runs it just runs this task for me. Okay. Now let's go back onto the computer. So let me go back onto the computer, and I'll stop recording on the phone. Now that we're back on the computer, so these are these little 25mm NFC tags, so something like this, very cheap and very easy to get hold of. So I just get some of these, and I think I paid something like £1 on Amazon or something to pick up a pack of 10. So they're not that expensive at all. All right. So what I'm going to do is, again, I did say that I'm going to go through the code, so give me a second. Let me get the code ready for you. Okay, so here we are. So this is the call that we're going to make in the Tasker app under the HTTP request and get. So http://username. So remember what we created as a username was Tasker. So I would use the word Tasker in there. Password, the password that we assigned to that particular username, the @ symbol, and then the IP address. So this is the IP that we did, when it said public IP address or external IP. So that's where we would put that address in there. Or if you have got a DYN DNS and you created it as words, then you can input that there instead. So as my example was Yorkshire automation.ddns.net. So that can go there. Of course, then we've got the colon and the port. So remember what you assigned the port number, the external port number, the random number that you decided yourself, you stick that in there. So then what happens, so this element, all it says is it's going to dial into our house, into our home center, using that IP, username, password, IP address and port number to get straight into the home center. Then API plugins, call UI, they're all standard API calls. So when it comes to device ID equals, so 43, remember that was our ID of the quick app, number 43, so you would put that there. Element name equals, and that's where this comes in, the door lock. That's why we need to make sure we've got the same name, door lock. And event type equals onReleased. So if you think back, we had that onReleased command. So that's what that is for. So now that's there. That's how it's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to change that to ID. And I'm going to put that to command. Oh, sorry. Name. That's the name of the button. So when you create your second, third, fourth, fifth, subsequent buttons, all you would do is you will just amend. Really, you can just copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, and just update the name all the time. All right. But make sure you type this in properly. All right. So let me just move that across to the other screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my phone to turn that on for you. So rather than activating it using the NFC, because I didn't have a spare one, you can also just press play like when you go on to the task itself. So if I go to the task, choose my task and just hit play, as you can see, the light just turned on automatically. So turn it off, press play, and it's turning on. So now I'm using Tasker, potentially an NFC tag, to turn on the light. So that's how it would work, and that's how Tasker works with Home Center. And to be honest, that's how I use Tasker and my Home Center for access to the gates and my car and things like that. Okay. I'm sorry it's had to be a little bit long just to get this on, but any questions, just to ask me. Happy creating, happy designing, and if you need any more info videos and things like that, I'm more than happy to help. Just like I said before, hit the like, subscribe buttons, and hopefully we'll get some more videos out to you as soon as I can. Thank you all for watching, and bye bye for now.